the benefit that that's going to have on your deen and every other area of your life. So I think a big thing with us as Muslims is, mashallah, we do a great job prioritizing our deen. But sometimes people will start to neglect other areas of our lives that the deen pertains to. Because of course the most important aspect of Islam that we must stick to, that is fard, is obviously following everything in Islam about ibadah, the formal acts of worship. But Islam gives us guidance and a very comprehensive system for how we can live every other area of our lives. Business, relationship, marriage, right? Our fatherhood, our motherhood for the sisters. So again, when it comes to our body, there is a ton of different evidence inside of the Sunnah, inside of the Quran, that we should be applying to our lives that many people neglect. And so I'm going to start off with the description of the Prophet ﷺ, which is that his chest and his stomach were in a straight line. And so that's the first thing, is we have to evaluate ourselves, because there was a period where I was very obese and I had a very big belly, and I had to look at myself and think, this is not the sunnah, this is not okay. The amount of food that I'm eating and what that's doing to my body, what that's doing to my energy levels, what that's doing to my ibadah, when I'm so tired after eating a giant dinner that I can't even focus during Isha, I can't even focus during Taraweeh, which Ramadan is in less than 3 months. This is a problem. This is starting to affect my ibadah. This is starting to affect my deen. This is starting to affect the way that I conduct myself in every other area of my life, both across deen and dunya. And so there's so much hikmah, there's so much wisdom in being able to follow the example of the Prophet ﷺ in every single area of our lives. And so there are a couple famous hadiths. Of course, there's the hadith on portion control. The worst vessel the son of Adam can fill is his stomach, and if he must fill it, 1/3 for food, 1/3 for water, and 1/3 to save room for his breath. Yet so many of us, when there's some delicious food, we just eat so much, we eat 110%. We fill ourselves beyond the brim. And we suffer in that from our energy levels and our weight and our health and our fitness and our inflammation. And so many brothers and sisters find themselves in a position where their energy levels aren't good, their knees hurt, their back hurts, everything hurts. And again, our energy is inconsistent, our sleep quality is poor, we're cranky and triggered all the time because we're not happy, because we physically don't feel good, because we're not taking care of our health. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to seek out the solution for, or the cure for every disease that we encounter. And when we have diseases like diabetes, obesity, cholesterol, heart attacks, everything else, and we're not doing anything about it, we need to really hold ourselves accountable and evaluate ourselves and start to make some changes. There's another famous hadith, which is that a mu'min al-qawi is more beloved to Allah than a mu'min al-da'if. The strong believer is more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. Now the word qawi is a broad term for the word strong, which applies to everything. Spiritually strong, of course, right? Financially strong, emotionally strong, mentally strong, physically strong. And if we look at the example of the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba, they were so strong that they were able to fight these battles. I mean, we look at battles where, by the intervention of Allah, sending help, of course, we were able to win, even if we were outnumbered 3-1. And so, at the end of the day, as Muslims, it's so important that we take care of the health of our body. And if you just apply those two things, number one, just practice portion control. Don't overstuff yourself. Even if you don't make any changes to your diet, the only change you make, you eat the exact same thing, but you just eat a little bit less. And you stop when you feel comfortable, but you don't overdo it. That alone will make such a difference. And Allah tells us in the Quran, He does not love those who are excessive. So do not be excessive. From there, if you just work on strength, whether it's some kind of workout, whether it's some kind of, self-defense training, whether it's even just doing push-ups, if it's lifting weights, whatever it may be, if you just get some weights for your home, your whole family can benefit, and inshallah, it's going to make a huge difference. Now, there's also verses in the Quran that we can look at to inspire us to make some changes. Allah tells us to eat what is halal and what is tayyibat in Surah Al-Baqarah. So why did Allah use the word halal and tayyibat? What is lawful and good? Well, is halal hot Cheetos halal? Yes, but is halal hot Cheetos good for you? No, it's not good. And so if we just eat good, wholesome things, like what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed, then inshallah we're going to see such a difference in our health. Now, we can also look at the science behind some of the different foods where we add way too many calories, which is not even necessary. Because we all want to enjoy our food, we want it to taste good. But do we need to put so much oil that it feels so heavy afterwards and it affects our ability to focus in salah after we eat? No, we don't. If we just use the same delicious spices, but we reduce the oil a little bit, that alone will help us to lose so much weight and not feel heavy and bloated, and to, again, have so much more energy for salah, for taking care of our kids, for showing up to work and giving a good quality work for the money that we're being paid, for the rizq that Allah has given us. And so, as we look at how we can please Allah in everything that we do, we need to have that taqwa when we're eating. We need to have that taqwa of Allah and that taqwa of what are we putting in our body and how does this fuel affect me. Now, who here would take your car and go fill it with the wrong fuel? You have a normal car, but you go fill diesel, and then the car stops working. Nobody here would do that, right? Yet so many of us, again, we're not fueling our bodies with the right foods. Now, if we look further at the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, what were some foods that the Prophet ﷺ used to eat that we can start to eat? We have a hand here. Dates, yes. Dates are a powerhouse of good nutrients. Just make sure to consume them in moderation, because again, the Prophet ﷺ would practice moderation. I see another hand. Milk, honey, and what? Black seed oil, yes, black seeds. So black seeds, black seed oil, ton of health benefits. You know, milk, as long as you're not lactose intolerant, you can get some good benefits. But again, just in moderation, it's got a lot of good micronutrients, especially the milk that was drank back then. The raw milk has a lot of good, probiotics for your gut. And honey, raw unfiltered honey, not the processed honey that comes in a little plastic bear, but local, raw, unfiltered honey, organic, which is what they had back then because they didn't have all the processing back then. So many benefits. There's so much shifa in honey. And Allah talks about honey in the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ used to eat a lot of honey. So again, super, super beneficial. I think I saw another hand. Somebody else has. Yes? What did you say? Vinegar. Yes, vinegar is a good condiment. That's another hadith as well. So, mashallah, you guys know a lot of different things. The Prophet ﷺ also used to eat cucumbers, watermelon, a lot of foods that have a lot of good health benefits. And it's interesting because also, I'm going to talk about cucumber specifically because some of you may not be ready to give up too much of the oily food, right? Or to put, maybe you add a little bit less oil to your food, you measure it like I'm telling you today so you can kind of reduce the heaviness of the meals, bring the calories down, lose some weight, be healthier, more energy. But maybe you still want to add a little more oil than you should, and it's a process, it's a transition for you. If you just consume some fiber, the fiber from the cucumbers is going to help you to digest that much better, and this is going to help you to feel better, have more energy. Fiber is so good for your gut health as well. This is going to help you have more energy. So there's so much wisdom in the foods that the Prophet ﷺ used to eat. Same thing, watermelon is going to be great for your hydration. Again, everything in moderation, right? Just because the Prophet ﷺ used to eat dates doesn't mean you should eat like 100 dates a day. That would be way too much, right? Do not be excessive. Allah told us not to be excessive. Yes, we have a brother in the back. What did he say? Grapes? Yes, grapes, raisins. It's interesting because there's actually a lot of health benefits because raisins, grapes, they have something called boron, which is good for testosterone levels. One of the brothers actually asked in the seminar before this with Brother Jabril about how to increase testosterone, so very beneficial. I see some more hands. Yes, brother?
Let's not forget the lamb for the capsule.
Yes, the lamb shoulder. Yes, sir. Inshallah, inshallah. But the Prophet ﷺ would eat red meat in moderation. So not all the time because there's a lot of fat in that. And science has shown today that eating too much saturated fat can increase your risk of heart disease. So the Prophet ﷺ would eat it because there's a lot of good benefits in it, but he would eat it in moderation. Everything in moderation. Yes? Eggs, I'm not sure. I don't think I've come across any narrations on eggs, but if you have one, please let me know, inshallah. Yes? What is it? Pomegranate, yes, pomegranate, which is also good for your testosterone levels. So mashallah, you guys know a lot of sunnah food. Eggs can be good for you though, even if it's not necessarily a sunnah food, there can be some benefit. I think I saw one more hand, then we're going to continue. Yes? Barley, yes, the Prophet ﷺ used to use barley, and he would actually make a tonic out of barley for people who were sick. I can't remember the exact narration, but there was a narration that the Prophet ﷺ wouldn't have wheat bread multiple nights in a row. So just be mindful that you could get bloated if you're eating bread too consistently. So try to do that in moderation and have days where you're not eating it, especially if you get bloated from it. Okay, so we got a lot of hands, but we're going to keep things going. So again, mashallah, it seems like you guys are knowledgeable, motivated, everything. So I think the reminder is very important. Just like how we have Islamic reminders to remind us what we already know, we all know that we should be healthy. We all know that we should practice portion control. We all know that we should follow the sunnah when it comes to our health, our fitness, our strength. But sometimes the reminder is helpful. And also being around the right company, around the right people and supporting each other. The Prophet ﷺ said that a man is upon the religion of his friend. So watch out who you befriend. And so it's important that we support each other as a community here. MashaAllah, here at Masjid Rabat, we have such a good community. So it's important that we hold each other accountable as well. Just like when it comes to deen, we'll hold each other accountable. We'll correct each other if we see anything that's wrong. When it comes to deen, we should also correct each other when it comes to the matters of the dunya. Not just fitness, but everything. And so when it comes to fitness specifically, if one of the brothers, he's got some health issues and you see him eating too many sweets or too much oily food, it's good to remind each other and do it because you want for your brother what you want for yourself. To be healthy, inshallah, to please Allah. And of course, to please Allah by even giving that reminder in the first place because you're going out of your way to help your fellow brothers. And if we can build that as part of our culture as a community, it's going to have so much benefit, inshallah. Because again, When we look at just how it directly affects our deen, when we're healthier, when we're not overweight, we have so much more energy, which helps us so much. In addition to that, when we're strong, when we're energetic, when we're confident, it helps us when it comes to raising our children, especially our sons. Because if we're not strong, if we're out of shape, if we're tired, we're lazy, we're on the couch, and you have little kids who want to play or older kids who are into sports, we want to be that active role model. We want to be involved in their lives. We want to be able to not just run out of energy when we're trying to take care of them. Or same thing with work. If you're just crashing at 2 p.m. and you can't focus after Dhuhr, and then your Asr suffers as well. I mean, all your prayers in the evening suffer because you're so tired. We really need to be mindful of all the different aspects of taking care of our health and fitness. Let's look at sleep as well. I'm sure that many of you have heard of the hadith where, I believe it was with Uthman, where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Do you not desire my practice?" Because he was praying all night and fasting all day. And so the Prophet ﷺ said, yes, pray during some of the nights, but sleep during some of the nights. Fast during some of the days, but also break your fast. Right? We have to practice moderation when it comes to our disciplines, and it's also important that we take care of our sleep because the body has rights on you. The Prophet ﷺ said in the same hadith, the body has a right on you. So it's so important that we familiarize ourselves with these hadiths and that we use these to remind ourselves and to inspire ourselves. And the best part is when you use the hadiths and the verses from the Quran to inspire yourself to be healthy and fit, then there's so much barakah in that because you're not doing it for vanity purposes like the stereotype with fitness, but you're doing it because you want to please Allah. You're doing it because you want to be a stronger believer who's more beloved to Allah, and you want to become stronger in every way. The strength transcends in every area of your life when you're disciplined with your nutrition and when you train for strength. And likewise, we want to be able to ultimately see that benefit in our energy, our focus, and everything else that this helps us do to be better Muslims. So there's a lot of intricacies to nutrition. This is supposed to be a short talk, but I can go as long as they would like me to. So I'll open it up for some, or actually, I don't think we have time for Q&A, so we're going to move on. But inshallah, this will be the first of many. So if you guys like this, talk to the brothers who run the seminars. And if you guys would like me to come back, I would be happy to anytime, inshallah.